Yo, what's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be going over the NBA slate on DraftKings for Thursday, March 1st. We have 4 games today on this Thursday, a short slate. But like always, guys, we're going to go through each position and talk about some players we want to target. Even though it's just 4 games, still got a video coming out today, still going to be playing this slate. Before we do get started, would really appreciate it if you guys would drop a like on the video. And if you haven't subscribed yet, if you're new to the channel, make sure you click that subscribe button so you'll never miss out on any of my new videos. But yeah, guys, starting off at point guard on today's 4-game slate, we got Damian Lillard up top here in a matchup against Minnesota. He's 9,400. I do like Lillard on this slate, but right now I have LeBron as like this top stud. I think LeBron gonna be a guy I'm trying to pay up for. LeBron's 11-9. Right now, not seeing a ton of value, so it's gonna be pretty hard to like play LeBron and a guy like Lillard or a guy like Ben Simmons. So for that reason, if I'm like making one lineup today, or if I'm just playing LeBron, it's going to be hard to play these guys, but I do like them as tournament plays, especially Damian Lillard here. Good matchup against Minnesota. They're not a good defensive team against the point guard. It's a great spot for Lillard playing at home in a big-time game. Lillard always really gets up for these games and tries to play really well. He's been playing well lately. Got 63, 63, 50 DraftKings points in 3 of his last 4 games. Been showing a lot of upside. I think Lillard, more of a tournament play. Not sure if I want to pay $9,400 for him in cash games, but with the upside he's been showing lately, definitely a spot where he could get 50 to 60 here and really be worth his price. So I like Dame in tournaments. Ben Simmons, I think I'm going to shy away from today. Maybe would go there in tournaments, but I actually think I prefer Lillard if I'm just going to be paying up for point guard. Dragic is 7,400 just at that price. I'm not sure if I'm going to be going there. Kind of the same with D'Angelo Russell now that he's priced up to 7,300. Definitely my favorite option in that price tier is Jeff Teague going up against Portland. Not the best matchup. Portland's been solid defensively this year. But without Jimmy Butler on the court, Jeff Teague has been playing so well lately. Butler's missed the last 2 games. Jeff Teague put up 50 and 41 DraftKings points. Has played 34, 33 minutes. Hasn't seen an uptick in minutes lately, but the production's definitely been better. Just been showing a lot more upside, having to handle the ball more with Butler off the court. I do like Teague, even though his price is starting to catch up. He is my favorite mid-tier play if you can go to him in that price range. Like, if I'm going there, like, with McCollum, Dinwiddie, Teague, Russell, Dragic, Teague is my favorite play there. Lonzo Ball could be interesting in tournaments. He is going to see an increase in minutes. His minutes restriction looks like it's going to rise to about 30, so I would expect Lonzo to play about 28 to 30 minutes here. It's 6,400 for Lonzo getting close to 30 minutes. I definitely think he is worth that price tag. Lonzo, when he's on the court, he's going to do so much. He's going to score, grab rebounds, get some assists. And in his 2 games back from injury, in 17 minutes against Dallas, he put up 27 DK points. In 24 minutes against the Hawks, 35 DK points. This is obviously a tough matchup. Miami is solid defensively against point guards. But I still like Lonzo here at 6,400. That is a cheap price, and if he's getting close to 30 minutes, it's pretty likely he's able to pay that off. So him and Teague are probably my favorite mid-tier plays. And then when we start to get to the value, I think there are some good options here. De'Aaron Fox, an option that really sticks out to me at 5,600 and a spot against Brooklyn. Love this matchup. Brooklyn, we know, not the best defensive team. A team that does play at a pretty fast pace, which sets up well for De'Aaron Fox, sets up well for his game. He is a quick guard, likes to run up and down the court. And going up against Brooklyn, this is definitely going to be an opportunity for him to do that. Sacramento, going to be playing at a faster pace here, going to be playing up in pace. So I really like De'Aaron Fox if you're trying to find someone to use as a point guard value play. 5,600, I guess you could consider that value. I do like Fox there in that 5K range. And then if we're going cheap for 5K and under for the cheap value point guards, it's mainly the 2 point guards from the Cavs, George Hill and Jordan Clarkson, that I see here. It's going to be really hard to decide which one of these guys has the big game. Last game it was George Hill. He played 37 minutes against Brooklyn, put up 44 DK points. His minutes have been pretty secure. Clarkson's minutes have also been pretty consistent as well. Clarkson's usually getting about 20 to 25 minutes off the bench. George Hill's probably going to play more minutes, but Clarkson's definitely a better fantasy producer when he's on the court. Clarkson's going to do a lot more when he's on the court. I think for cash games, I would probably roll with George Hill because you know he's going to get the minutes. Clarkson may be more of the tournament play because he could play 25 minutes, but Clarkson could easily get 30, 35 DK points in 25 minutes. So if you're going cheap at point guard, I like George Hill as sort of a cheap cash play, and Clarkson you could use in tournaments. But that's really it for point guard. Not a lot of value I see here. Mainly going to be going to this mid-tier or playing a guy like De'Aaron Fox. And if you want to go to the Cleveland guards, you could do that. But let's go ahead, move on to shooting guard. D'Angelo Russell's up top here. I kind of mentioned him already. Just is 7,300. I don't know how great of a play D'Angelo Russell is when he's over 7K. So I think I'll be shying away from him. I don't love a lot of the top options here, like Brandon Ingram against Miami. Not sure if I want to go there. That's a tough matchup. Probably my favorite play, if you're paying up, would be like Andrew Wiggins against Portland. Andrew Wiggins, a guy, does see a big uptick in usage with Jimmy Butler off the court. And he's seen his shots increase the last 2 games. He's taken 18 and 15 shots last 2 games with Butler off the court. He's playing a ton of minutes, close to 40 minutes if it's a competitive game. This game against Portland, you would imagine, is going to be competitive. So I do really like Wiggins here. Not sure if I would use him in tournaments because the guy just doesn't have a lot of upside. But for cash games, he's very solid. You know you're going to get 30 DraftKings points from him. He can get you 30 to 35 easily here and return value on this price. So Wiggins in cash, if you can fit him in, is shooting guard or small forward. I do like him at 6,700. Shooting guard's kind of a gross position. Like, you got mid-tier plays like Bogdanovich against Brooklyn you could play, but I don't like Bogdanovich's price at 5,800. Josh Richardson against the Lakers probably be my favorite play here. He's also at 5,800. But you just love that matchup against the Lakers. Richardson will play a ton of minutes if it's a competitive game. We've seen him this year, or just even in his last 2 games, have 2 games, 38 and 38 minutes, playing close to 40 minutes in competitive games. And against the Lakers, great matchup, like I said. You're getting a guy playing 35 to 40 minutes against the Lakers at just 5,800. Definitely have to like that as someone you can use as shooting guard for value. You also got like Crabbe for a little bit cheaper who you could play. He's still been playing really well lately, even with D'Angelo Russell in the starting lineup. Crabbe's still been solid, still been getting the minutes, so you could go to him if you're going cheap at shooting guard. And then for the 5K and under plays, there is an option here that really sticks out to me. Rodney Hood at 4,400 against the Sixers. Love Rodney Hood today as someone you can use at shooting guard or small forward to really save salary. He's only 4,400, and I think that is kind of too cheap for a guy that's going to be playing close to 30 minutes or more. In his games with the Cavs this year, I believe he's played like 4 or 5 games with the Cavs. He's seen close to 30 minutes in just about every game. He eclipsed that in the last game against Brooklyn, playing 31 minutes. The Cavs did come out and say they want to get Rodney Hood more involved. We saw that with him playing 31 minutes off the bench. I think we continue to see Hood play 25 to 30 or more minutes off the bench. And at 4,400, really good value play. I think he does make a lot of sense here as someone you can use if you're trying to really save salary at shooting guard. The other play that I would go to in that same price range would be Jamal Crawford against Portland. With Butler off the court, Crawford's going to see a few more minutes off the bench, so you could play him at 4,300. I think I would prefer Hood for just 100 more, but Crawford is a guy that you can use if you're trying to punt this position. But that's really what I see for the shooting guard value. So let's go ahead and move on to small forward. You got LeBron up top here going up against the Sixers. Like I said at the beginning, love LeBron today, 11-9. I know he's expensive, but the guy's just been so good lately. You take Isaiah Thomas off the court. I've been saying this lately. IT off the court, LeBron's going to do everything. He's going to handle the ball. He's going to grab a ton of rebounds, going to get a ton of assists. He's going to have to score. And we've just seen that the last few games. His last 4, 57, 57, 64, 69 DraftKings points. Has a triple-double. And 2 of his last 3 games nearly got one against the Spurs. Was just an assist shy of another triple-double. LeBron's just such a safe play right now. Going to give you such a high floor. I know he's expensive, but I think it is possible to fit him in. Not sure if you'll be able to fit him in and then fit in a guy like Lillard. That might be a little tough, but maybe some value will open up. Maybe we'll get some injury news and value will open up to where he can play LeBron and another stutter. But right now, if I'm just building one lineup, especially for cash games, I'm definitely going to be building that one lineup around LeBron. I just think he's such a good play today. For tournaments, he's got the upside. He can get 70 to 80. We've seen him do it before. And obviously for cash games, that's where you really want LeBron. Just pretty much a lock for 50 DraftKings points if it's a competitive game. And this game against the Sixers, you would imagine, would be competitive. So I'm going to be paying up for LeBron here. But the other plays that we could consider, like Wiggins, if you want to play him at small forward, I think DeMarre Carroll at 5,900 is a guy that you could use. If you want to go to this mid-range at this position, you could also play him at power forward. He's been playing pretty well lately. 46, 36, 29 DK points his last 3 games. Did have a disappointing game in there against Charlotte, but Carroll's been getting the minutes lately, playing close to mid-30s in minutes every night. Great matchup here against the Kings, a bad defensive team. You could play Carroll in that mid-range. Maybe if you're trying to go a little bit cheaper, try and find some value. There is some value here that I see. Nemanja Bjelica at 5,300 is a value play that I like going up against Portland. We know with Jimmy Butler off the court, Bjelica going to be starting for Butler. He started the last 2 games and has played 33 and 34 minutes, put up 22, 33 DraftKings points, so he's been solid. He's 5,300. The price tag is starting to rise a bit, but I still think Bielitsa can pay off this price tag just with him getting the minutes. And with not a lot of value on this slate, I'm going to take a guy that's this cheap, playing 30-plus minutes. That's kind of the best value that I see on the slate right now. So Bielitsa is a guy I like if you're going cheap at small forward. Then maybe going sub 5K. It's pretty gross once we get down here. I don't see a lot of plays I love. You can maybe play Robert Covington. I feel like Covington's going to have to play minutes here. He's one of their better defenders, so he's going to most likely have to guard LeBron. But Covington's just been atrocious lately for fantasy. Even though he's playing a ton of minutes, he's still not doing anything. Last 4 games, 16, 24, 17, 19 DraftKings points. Just hasn't been scoring, hasn't been hitting his shots, been pretty atrocious from the field. Shot 20% last game, 28% in the game before that. Not really sure if these numbers continue, but Covington has had success in this matchup for what it's worth, putting up 26 DraftKings points through 3 games against the Cavs and played an average of 31 minutes. He's going to have to play minutes here to guard LeBron. Maybe you could play Covington if you're going cheap, but he's really the only value play that I like, sub 5K. So I think that's really it for small forward. For the value plays, at least options that really catch my eye. So moving on to power forward, you got Julius Randle up top here going up against the Heat. I'm not a big fan of Randle in this spot. This is a tough matchup against the Heat. They're really solid defensively against the power forward. And Randle is kind of expensive at $7,500, so I think I'll be shying away from him here. I like some of the mid-tier plays you got at power forward, like if you want to play Dario Saric at $6,500, I think he's a good option here. I usually don't play Saric when Embiid's on the court. The only times I've really played Saric this year is when Embiid has missed. But with it being a 4-game slate, not a ton of options, I think Saric is a good mid-tier play here. He's been consistent lately, 25, 25, 30, 34 DraftKings points his last 4 games. Pretty solid matchup against Cleveland. Not the best defensive team against the power forward. So you could use Saric in that mid-range. Maybe Zach Randolph if he plays today, if he doesn't rest. Could be a really good option against Brooklyn. We could play him at $6,300. And you obviously got CARROLL right there at $5,900. These are mainly the guys I see at power forward, at least in the mid-tier. And then trying to go for the value, like Larry Nance is a guy I want to like here against Philly. But I'm just not sure if the minutes are going to be there. The minutes have been so inconsistent for Larry Nance. He did play 26 minutes off the bench last game against Brooklyn and put up 27 DK points. I'm not sure who they're planning on using to guard Embiid, whether Tristan Thompson, whether he'll have success on Embiid, or they try to use a guy like Nance. I feel like Nance might have more success defending Embiid, so he might get some good minutes here. But he's really only a tournament play. You don't know. He could only play 15 to 20 minutes. He could play 25 to 30. We don't really know. And for that reason, that really only makes him a tournament play in my opinion. But he does have a lot of upside if he gets the minutes, so you could use him at $5,500 in GPPs. And then the one value play I see at power forward that really sticks out to me is Jarrett Allen at $4,900 in a matchup against the Kings. I really like Jarrett Allen if you're trying to go cheap at power forward or center. I think he is a good option today. Great matchup. Kings really struggle down low. They really struggle to defend centers. With Jahlil Okafor ruled out for today, Jarrett Allen should be looking at a few more minutes. He did play 28 minutes last game against Cleveland, put up 23 DraftKings points. He's going to continue to see consistent minutes. I can reasonably project Allen for about 25 to 28 minutes here. Maybe if he's playing really well, he might eclipse 30 minutes. I think he has pretty good potential for a double-double here. Can easily get 25 DraftKings points and pay off this price. So I like Jarrett Allen if you're going cheap at power forward or center. He's mainly the option that sticks out to me. So let's go ahead and move on to the next position. Look at center. Do have some good expensive options we can consider paying up for here. You got Embiid going up against Cleveland, Karl-Anthony Towns against Portland, Whiteside against the Lakers. Just kind of like I said in the beginning, I think it's going to be hard to play these guys if you're playing LeBron today, unless some good value opens up. But maybe if you're not playing LeBron like in tournaments and you want to pay up for one of these guys, I think my favorite option for GPPs would definitely be Embiid versus Cleveland. Obviously now that Thompson's going to be the starter, he is a much better defender than Kevin Love was. So this isn't like a cupcake matchup for Joel Embiid, but this guy just has a ton of upside. You don't really care with the matchup. He's going to get his points whether or not it's a good matchup or not. He has a ton of upside. I think you're really only using Embiid in tournaments anyways. So if you're going to play some GPPs today, if you're making multiple lineups, I would play Embiid in one of them. Towns you could go to, but I think I would prefer Embiid. Whiteside against the Lakers, you love that matchup, but I'm just not sure if Whiteside's going to get the minutes here. I know he did play solid minutes last game against Philly, putting up 45 DraftKings points in 34 minutes. You look at the last 4 games, 29 minutes, 34 minutes, 26, 34. So some nights Whiteside might play close to 35 minutes. Some nights he only might play like 25. Don't really know. But in a matchup against the Lakers, 8K, I think you can really only play Whiteside in GPPs at this price. But If he gets the minutes, could really crush. So I like him in tournaments as well. Mainly EMBIID though is the guy that I like if I'm paying up at center. And then like in this mid tier, it's kind of the same place here. Like WCS, Yusuf Nurkic. Not really sure if these are guys I'm forcing in today. Maybe Nurkic, but it's 7K. Not really sure how great of a play he is when he's that priced up. You love that matchup for Willie Cauley-Stein, but he's also expensive at 7,100. I think I'd just rather play Randolph for a couple hundred cheaper. He's only 6,300. If he plays today, he could be a really good option. That's really it for center. It's kind of just a lot of plays I've already talked about. So I think that's really it for this position. I think that's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I do really appreciate it. If you enjoyed the video, just make sure you give it a like. And if you haven't subscribed yet, then make sure you click that subscribe button down below. If you have any questions, feel free to hit me up on Twitter at the DFS_GOAT, or just leave a comment down below, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. But yeah, guys, I think that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching, and good luck tonight on this slate, guys. Peace.